What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another solo leveling Arise video. It's your boy Payne. Happy Monday, everybody. It's almost Christmas time, and if you guys don't know this, my kids are going to be home with me for 2 weeks straight, so we are going to be busy parents, which means I won't be able to live stream as much as I normally do or put out as much content, but I do hope to put out enough to make sure that you guys get what you need in terms of keeping you entertained and informed of what's going on in the world of SLA and any other game that I'm covering. Real quick as well too, while we're on the topic of SLA, remember the content creator program is going to be over very soon for this season, so go and support. I will be sending out the last little bit of codes for you guys. Click that support button. It's in every single video, the first description of every single video, so click that button, guys, in the description. Get your support codes. They're going to expire on the 27th to the 31st depending on which code. I'll be sending out the rest of the codes today. I already sent out the 1,000 I believe yesterday, and more to come very soon, so guys, don't miss out on this. And plus, remember, I'm going to be asking you guys to please rejoin the program as well too, which will ensure that you'll get your codes next season, as well keep your rankings just in case you plan to ever spend and be a part of that top 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, which I'll be actually inviting to the live streams that I'll be doing in the future in order to get to know you guys and just thank you guys in person as well too, and just to give you guys a heartfelt welcome to the channel properly, as well as give you guys a chance to kind of talk about yourselves, your account, what makes you love SLA, and perhaps if you have anything to promote, you may want to do that as well. Okay, so don't forget to do that. Now, a couple of things to note. I have had a couple of requests from newer players, veteran players, etc., wondering how did I hit my 40k attack on my free-to-play account. Now, I'm going to actually go over a lot of this because I want to talk about the definitive SJW guide. Okay, this is essentially going to explain to you guys how to build SJW the best way, what you want to focus on in every single aspect of the game, and how it's going to help you guys make the best possible main character out there. All right, so let's start off with the basics. Stats. Strength, perception. That's all you're going to care about, okay? Ideally, you want to hit perception to about 99%. I'm okay with still almost close to 90. I use all my gems. It hasn't steered me wrong, but a lot of folks, at the especially top tier, have proved that having 99% is better. So sacrificing a little bit of strength here would not hurt to get perception up, especially if you do it this way, right? If I reset this, for example, and let's just say I put in, like, I don't know, 100 points worth, right there, that puts me at 600. If I go back here now, I'm at 98.27. Let's just say I put another, I don't know, 10. Let's see what this puts me at. 99%, perfect. And then now the rest of it goes towards strength, right? This will still keep me right where I want to be in terms of attack, and also at the same time, I guess you can see 39k, at the same time provide me that 99% precision, giving me a full-on consistent attack. So these are the two most important stats for him when it comes down to your actual section here. Early on, you can go all strength for a very long time. When you start hitting about the 35k-ish attack, I suggest switching over to perception and then attack from there. Shout out to those folks who did the testing and figured that one out. Now, in regards to actual skills, the main two skills that are going to matter for him early on are going to be magnifying slashes over here. If you have the light one called double down, that works as well too. For break purposes, you're going to use the almighty breaks, the following here, vacuum wave, and then if you have dispersion here, that's going to be even better. So for free-to-play accounts, those are the main skills you're going to use to complete the game and most of the PvE content. Now, when it comes down to PvP content, in some bosses, you're also going to use electric shock here for a lot of the light battles. For guild bosses, you're going to use ascension break, crushing blow, and you're going to be using a lot of the crosshairs and these gale versions of vertical art. So these are very important ones as well too. And then once in a while, you'll use black hole and things like absorption and finisher and liberation. Okay, so these are some of the important ones, but the main ones here to focus on: magnifying slashes, double down, dispersion, and you got yourself the vacuum wave. Those are going to be your main skills. And of course, if you're an existing player or a new player, you're going to want to level up your ultimate. Start with mutilate, and then eventually, when you get a chance to, you'll move over to King's Domain and use King's Domain as your main skills. Now, for QTEs, it's very important to remember there's a few of them now that have come out. I personally like the legendary Ice Strike, but for breaking purposes, I use Squall, and then over here I use Compress to break the opponent's bars as quickly as I possibly can. If you're not breaking opponent's bars, you could of course use something like Compress, which will do more damage if the opponent does not have a break bar. So these things like that will help. But these are very minor details, things you don't have to worry about till way later on. Okay, now blessing stones. The main blessing stones for offensive purposes, there's going to be a couple here. Okay, I'm going to break them down a little bit here. Sharp perception is when you get the legendary version, is going to be one of your main ones to continuously do your crit damage. It's very important. Okay, swiftness is going to be one for survivability. Plus, if you use plum sword, this is almost a must-have. So that's a big one as well. Reawakening is going to be one of your main two. Reawakening and bloodlust are going to be your main two, in my opinion. And then pulverize will be your number 3. Pulverize, especially especially important when you're fighting opponents with break bars to break the opponent's bars quicker. So those are going to be your main 3 important ones. And then from there you put Star Perception, Swiftness, Boss Layer. You can do Double-Edged Sword. We are 1, especially for POD and for Guild Boss. And depending if you're fighting the proper weakness detection. Those are some of the more important ones. Now, if you're fighting opponents like AoE mobs or mobs that you'll be doing for, for clearing, let's say, gates, this is actually not a bad one. The Wolf Assassin, it'll finish the gates way quicker. Of course, you don't have to use this one, but it's there if you need it. And there's a couple new ones that just came out, like Intuit, Desire, etc. I won't talk about those yet because we have to do more testing, but they are looking really, really good, and we'll add those more to the list once we get there. Now, in terms of survivability, my favorite one, of course, is going to be the right here, Daily Quest Completion. In case you die, you become immortal, you come back to life, and you're good to go. Second one here is Tenacity, which I really like. If you're fighting AoE mobs, HP Extract's amazing. And then also, if you're fighting just regular bosses, Kasaka Steel Scales are really, really good. So those are the 3 best combinations in my opinion right there, or 4 combinations. Now, in regards to weapons, what you want to focus on weapon-wise, there's going to be 3 major weapons that you really, really want to put effort on. The first one is going to be the Plum Sword, the second one is going to be the Moon Shadow Daggers, and the third one will be DKD. Those are the main 3 for now. The fourth one, honorable mention right now, is going to be the brand new staff that just came out, the Wukong staff. I'm not leveling it up, but it's one of the ones you definitely want to use. Now, if you are going to focus on SR weapons, the only SR weapon worth like leveling up as you continue playing is going to be Westwind. Still a very, very powerful weapon, so definitely worthwhile having. And then, of course, lastly, the third universal weapon, which is going to be the Grimoire for Guild Boss and anything else Guild Boss related, or sometimes POD. Okay, so those are the main, I'd say, 4 or 5 weapons that you really, really want to focus on. So Moon Shadow Daggers, Plum Sword, DKD, Grimoire, if you're doing SR, Westwind. And then if you need, let's just add one more. If you need a fire weapon, I'd say the Orb of Avarice, and then it will be the Phoenix Bow. Okay, so there you guys go. Those are the main weapons I'd say focus on. Now, stats. Okay, let's talk about artifacts real quick. The main 2 artifact sets you're going to be using are going to be 4-piece Curse, 4-piece Expert, or 8-piece Curse in the beginning just to get your combat power up. And then also during guild boss fights, you're going to be using Intellect Spec with Blessing. Okay, those are the main ones you're going to use for SJW. Stats wise, this is an important one. What are you guys looking for stats? So for SJW, ideally want to look for a good balance between basic attack, so additional attack, as well as attack percentage. So put it this way, the more base attack you have, the more attack percentage scales off and works better. Right now, remember, SJW gets to scale off of 2 weapons, so his attack percentage is going to be much better than Hunters. Hunters scale better off flat. SJW, for the most part, scales better off of. So real quick, speaking of artifacts, a lot of you guys want to know how I got my 40k attack power. Right now, the main thing here, of course, is to focus on attack percentage and additional attack. Also, remember, if you can get additional attack as your main stat, and you can pump in +3 attack percentage as a substat, that actually ends up working better than it being your main stat. So that's where all the luck is going to come from, and I can show you guys what I'm talking about here, right? Like you see here, my +4 gives me 29% attack percentage, right? Versus 21% at the main stat. So very, very important to note that. That's right, I got a +4. We got a couple +2s, +3s, right? Like a 23% +3 versus 21% plus the main attack. So this is where you want to focus. A lot of your efforts should be into hitting that +2, +3, and you want to combine as many additional attacks and attack percentages into one artifact as you can, and try to hit those 2 stats as your main one. That's going to push your account and your SJW to as much power as possible. And then, of course, focusing on crit rate here, damage increase, and then at the same time crit hit damage here with damage increase here with the attack. So those are going to be your main stats to focus on, guys. Now, the only exception to that rule early on is going to be your cores. Your cores are going to scale better with additional attack, but as you level up and get more base attack, your attack percentage will actually do more for you, except for the defense. Additional defense is always better for the most part, and then for HP as well, additional HP seems to work better. In my case, I only have HP percentage. So those are the main things to focus on, HP percentage, but you also still want a good base amount. Okay, now for crit purposes, you do want to have a little bit over crit. About 10k is more than enough. You don't need more than 10k. With critical hit damage, the more the better. 214 is pretty good, but don't forget, this amount will drop as soon as you fight monsters that are higher level. So this, like fighting a mob who's level 109, for example, will drop this down to like 130% crit instead of 214, and this will also drop as well too. That's why it's important to have as much over crit as you can, up to about 10k, and then from there you're good to go. Damage increase, very important. I try to go 20% or above, and then defense penetration that's up to you on that one. That's not as important in my opinion. So artifacts, yes. So you want to go 4-piece curse, 4-piece expert as your main artifact set. Very, very important to remember that. And then also at the same time, don't forget that the artifacts can also now be enchanted. So you definitely want to do simulation and try to get as much enchantments into your artifacts as you possibly can. Now, a lot of people have been asking about artifact equipment score. That doesn't matter as much. You'll find that when you have the proper stats in something that has lower artifact armor score, you'll actually end up getting a better overall CP, right, which is combat power. So don't worry about that too much. So there you guys go. That is essentially it. That's what you want to focus on. Those are the cores, those are the artifacts, that's the stats, and that's what you want to put all your effort towards. Now, in regards to shadows, if you are going to build a shadow team, your main shadow will, for the most part, always be Igris, Big Rock, and Beru, and those are the main 3 that you're probably going to use the entire time. As supporting ones though, Beru and Serbi or Beru and Iron are going to be your best supporting guys for the time being. All right, folks. Gem. Oh yeah, let me actually go through gems real quick. Actually, for gems, if it's going to be for SJW specifically, you want to focus on attack percentages on red. You want to focus on additional or HP percentages on blue. Here you want to focus all perception. For orange, and then purples you can do, if you want combat power, you do speed. If you want actual utility, you do MP or MP reduction. And then here you focus on all additional defense if you possibly can. Damage reduction gives you guys the most amount of power. I think that pretty much covers it all, guys. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that covers it all. So there you guys go. If you have any comments or questions, let me know in the comment section. This is my current battle tier for free to play, almost at the next level. I'll be pushing that today. If again, remember it's the weekend, guys. So not the weekend, sorry, it's the holiday. So if I don't be on as much, I apologize. But hopefully this guide helps a lot of you put together a better SJW. All right, folks. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.